Evan never planned to crash on another planet. He was only supposed to transport repair parts from one station to another, a normal delivery job that he had done hundreds of times. But this time his old shuttle started shaking midway through the journey. Warning lights flashed. Sparks jumped out of the control panel. Before he could fix anything, the ship spun out of control and went straight down toward an unknown world. He fought the controls, but nothing helped. All he could do was brace himself and hope the atmosphere didn't burn him alive. The shuttle tore through the clouds, groaning like a dying beast. Then came the crash. Metal screamed, trees fell, and smoke filled the air. Evan coughed hard, trying to breathe. His arms were scratched and his leg hurt, but he was alive. He pushed open the bent door of the shuttle and dragged himself outside. Soft ground met him, covered in glowing blue grass. Strange floating fireflies danced in the air. The sky was purple with two suns shining far apart. He had never seen a place like this. His head pounded, but he kept walking, trying to find help. He didn't walk far before he heard footsteps. He froze. His hand reached for his side instinctively, but he had no weapon. Someone was coming. Or something. Two figures appeared from between the glowing trees. They were tall and slim, their skin faintly shining like pearls under moonlight. Their eyes were big and gentle, their hair flowing softly like strands of silk. They looked like humans at first glance, but too perfect to be human. They whispered to each other in a language he didn't understand. One of them stepped forward. She had long silver hair tied in a loose braid, and bright golden eyes that blinked curiously at him. She examined his face closely without any fear. Then she gasped loudly. "Oh no," she said in fluent English with a soft bell-like voice. "Your face is so strange." Evan opened his mouth, unsure how to respond. She squinted harder. "Your nose is too small. Your eyes are too dull. You look uneven." The second figure grabbed her arm. "Lyra, stop," she whispered shyly. "That's not polite." Evan blinked in confusion. Hi?" The second alien looked at him nervously. She had long white hair that covered part of her face. Her eyes were closed, calm but distant. She held a thin wooden stick in her hand and used it to feel the ground in front of her. "She's blind," Lyra said cheerfully, pointing at her sister. "She can't see anything at all." Evan's heart softened. He stood straight and tried to speak calmly. "I don't want trouble. My ship crashed. I just need help." Lyra gasped loudly as if he had just offered treasure. "Help? Yes, we help. But you must repay." Evan hesitated. "Repay how?" Lyra's golden eyes sparkled. Her mouth curled into an innocent but dangerous smile. "Easy. Marry my blind sister," she said proudly. "She can't see how ugly you are anyway." Evan choked on his own breath. "Excuse me?" The blind girl's face turned bright red. "Lyra, don't say that." "I am so sorry." She lowered her head deeply. "Please forgive her. She says whatever she thinks." Evan rubbed his forehead, overwhelmed. "I'm not ugly." "You are," Lyra said honestly. "But don't worry. Only I can see it. Sena cannot. So you two will be perfect." Sena, the blind sister, pressed her hand to her face in embarrassment. "Please ignore her. She doesn't understand how human manners work." Evan sighed. "Look, I'm grateful for your help, but I'm not marrying anyone. I just need medical treatment and maybe food." Lyra shrugged casually. "Medicine and food are for family. If you marry my sister, you are family. Simple." "That's not simple," Evan protested. Sena reached out carefully, her hand shaking a little. "You sound hurt. Let me see." She stepped closer, using her stick slowly. Evan stood still. Her hand touched his arm gently, then moved to his shoulder. Her fingers were soft and careful, tracing lightly over his clothing to check for wounds. "You're bleeding here," she whispered, touching a cut near his elbow. "It's fine," he mumbled. "Just a scratch," she frowned. "You're shaking. You must be exhausted." Her voice was calm and soothing. She didn't treat him like a threat or a stranger. She treated him like someone who needed care. Lyra clapped happily. "See, she already likes you." "Marriage confirmed. Stop deciding things on your own." Evan groaned. But before he could argue more figures appeared among the trees. A group of similar glowing beings approached slowly. They carried wooden baskets and strange fruit. They looked surprised to see a human. One of the elders, a tall man with long golden robes, spoke in a deep, gentle tone. "Lyra, Sena." "Who is this outsider?" Lyra proudly pointed at Evan. "Husband candidate." Evan nearly collapsed. "I'm not." Sina quickly bowed her head, her face red. He is a traveler. His ship crashed. He needs help. The elder studied Evan carefully. His gaze was kind yet strict. A visitor must be protected. But our laws are clear. He must not take advantage of our kindness. He must give something in return. Lyra raised her hand eagerly. He will give marriage. Evan stared at her in disbelief. Can you stop offering me like a gift? The elder stroked his chin thoughtfully. Marriage is a great bond. If he accepts such responsibility, he shall be treated as one of us. If he refuses, he must leave these lands and survive alone. Evan looked around. Purple skies stretched endlessly. He had no working ship, no supplies, no shelter. Going alone meant death, but marrying someone he just met? That was insane. Sina stood quietly beside him. Her face was calm, but her hands trembled nervously. I will not force him, she whispered. If he stays, I only ask. To remain as friends, the elder nodded. He may stay without marriage if he earns his place among us. Lyra looked disappointed. So no wedding yet? Yet, Evan repeated. There is no wedding at all. The elder smiled faintly. Come, he shall be healed first. Evan followed them into the village. It was made of smooth white stone and glowing plants woven together like art. Children ran around happily. Some were curious about his strange clothing. Some yelped and ran away in fear. Others just stared at him like he was some weird animal. Sina led him by gently holding his sleeve. She walked slowly, tapping her stick on the ground to guide herself. Despite not seeing, she moved gracefully, listening to every sound. You must be tired, she said softly. We have a resting place near the water. Evan glanced at her. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. Sina smiled faintly. You sounded lonely when you spoke. I know what loneliness feels like. He didn't know how to respond to that. They reached a clear pond with glowing blue water. A healer came and wrapped his wounds with soft herbal cloth. The pain faded slowly. He sat there, watching little silver fish swimming in the water. Sina sat beside him, folding her legs quietly. She turned her face toward him, though she couldn't see him. Are you angry? She asked. No, he said slowly. Just confused, she nodded. Lyra speaks too much. But she means well. She worries about me. Many here think I am weak because I cannot see. So she tries to make me laugh. Evan raised an eyebrow. By forcing random men to marry you? Sina covered her face in embarrassment. She has strange methods. Evan couldn't help but chuckle. Despite the chaos, he didn't dislike Sina. She was gentle, calm, and honest. Very different from most people he knew. Suddenly, a loud horn echoed across the village. Everyone froze. Evan looked up. The peaceful atmosphere changed instantly. Villagers grabbed their children and hurried inside houses. Lyra ran toward them. Draxen are coming, she shouted. Sina's hand tightened around her stick. All ready? But they came last week. Who are they? Evan asked. Lyra's cheerful face turned serious. Raiders. They take food. And people. They don't care who they hurt. Evan's jaw tightened. How do you defend yourselves? We don't, Lyra said, her voice trembling a little. We are peaceful. We offer them gifts and hope they leave. Evan stared at her. That's not defending. That's waiting to be hurt. Sina stood up slowly, facing the direction of the sound. Though blind, her posture was firm. This is why I hate my weakness. I cannot protect anyone. Evan clenched his fists. His ship was broken, his tools limited. But he wasn't helpless. He had fixed war machines and defense systems before. He wasn't a soldier, but he was an engineer. And engineers build hope. Do you have metal? Ropes? Anything reflective? Lyra blinked. Yes. In the storage hut. Good, Evan said firmly. Show me. Lyra nodded and rushed ahead. Sina followed slowly, using her stick. Evan moved fast, his mind racing with ideas. Lyra led him to a large hut filled with scrap metal, old mirrors, and strange crystals. Evan grabbed pieces and studied them. I can make traps. Flash barriers. Maybe noise amplifiers. Enough to scare them. Lyra's eyes widened. You can do that? Evan smirked. Ugly or not, I'm useful. Sina smiled faintly, hearing his confidence. Be careful. He turned to her. I'll make sure they never touch this village again. Hours passed as he worked nonstop. He tied reflective plates around trees to blind enemies with sunlight. He placed crystal jars that exploded with loud sound when stepped on. He built a basic slingshot launcher using vines and metal scraps. The villagers watched from a distance, whispered to each other in awe. Night fell, and the horn sounded again. Dark shadows approached from the sky. Flying ships with red lights descended slowly. The Draxan raiders landed, their footsteps heavy. They marched toward the village. One of them growled, "Bring your tribute." But instead of frightened villagers, they were met with blinding flashes of light bouncing off mirrors. They screamed in surprise. Then loud echoing blasts erupted as the crystal jars exploded. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the dense leaves of the forest. Dew sparkled on moss and vines, and birds sang in a language that only the girl understood. She awoke slowly, blinking her silver eyes, and looked around. For the first time, she noticed the human beside her. He was still sleeping, his face relaxed and peaceful. She tilted her head, curious, a faint warmth spreading in her chest. She had never seen anyone like him before. Humans were strange, noisy, and often dangerous, but this one, he was different. He had protected her. He had not run away, even when the machines had attacked. The memory of that moment made her chest glow softly, as if her energy itself remembered his courage. Ethan stirred and yawned. "Morning," he said gently. "Sleep well?" The girl stayed silent. She did not know words. She had never needed them. Instead, she tilted her head, trying to understand him. Ethan smiled, unbothered by her silence. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll figure things out today. I think we're not as safe here as we'd like." The girl's eyes widened slightly. She had felt it too, something in the forest was shifting. Shadows flickered unnaturally between the trees. The air felt heavier, charged with energy. She did not know what it meant, but instinct told her danger was coming. Ethan packed their few supplies into his bag. He noticed her watching him closely. "You're smart," he said with a smile. "You always know what's about to happen, huh?" She blinked slowly and stepped closer, letting him see her glowing markings. The light from her skin seemed to react to his presence, pulsing gently as if in rhythm with his heartbeat. Ethan stopped for a moment, staring at her in wonder. "You're incredible," he said softly. "I don't know what you are, but I'm glad I found you." Before she could respond, though she did not have words, there was a loud crack from the forest behind them. Leaves rustled violently and shadows moved. Ethan's eyes sharpened. "We have company," he whispered. The girl stiffened. She had sensed soldiers before, long ago, before she had known humans, before she had survived alone. The feeling returned, stronger now. These humans were different from the strange robotic drones they had fought yesterday. They were real, armed and searching for her. Ethan motioned for her to stay behind him. "Don't worry. I've got you." The girl nodded, or at least she tried. It was the closest thing to acknowledgement she could offer. She followed silently, staying low to the ground as Ethan led the way through a hidden path in the forest. Soon, they reached a clearing. A group of soldiers appeared at the edge, scanning the area. Their weapons gleamed under the morning sun. Ethan froze, calculating. The girl crouched beside him, her body glowing faintly as if ready to react. The leader of the soldiers stepped forward, shouting in a harsh voice. "We know you're here. Surrender the creature, and no harm will come to the human." Ethan shook his head. "I'm not leaving her behind," he said firmly. "You'll have to go through me." The soldiers laughed. "One human? You'll be crushed." The girl felt the anger rise in her chest. She had never spoken, never yelled, never faced humans like this, but now, something inside her surged. Her markings began to glow brighter. Blue energy crackled around her arms. The soldiers hesitated, sensing something they could not understand. Ethan noticed it. "Stay calm," he whispered. "Don't let it scare you. Just focus." She looked at him, confusion in her eyes.
He nodded slightly.
She understood. Focus. Protect. One soldier raised his weapon and fired. The energy from her arms erupted. The ground shook. Roots and vines shot up from the soil, wrapping around the soldier's feet and arms. They tried to pull free, but the vines held fast. Some weapons clattered to the ground. Others bent and twisted as if the forest itself was alive, answering her call. The soldiers screamed and struggled. Ethan stepped forward, raising his hands. "Stop! They won't hurt you if you stop attacking." The girl looked at him, blinking rapidly. The energy faded slightly, but the forest remained tense. The soldiers were on their knees, frozen in awe and fear. They had never seen anything like this. One muttered to another, "It's the lost princess. The royal sigils." Ethan turned to the girl. Do you understand? They're not all your enemies. Some of them, they'll follow you, but you must be careful. She tilted her head, trying to mimic his words. Slowly, she whispered, "Follow me." Ethan's eyes widened. It was the first word she had ever spoken to him. He smiled, more relieved than he had ever been in his life. "Yes," he said gently. "Follow me. I'll help you." The soldiers looked at her in shock. This girl, the one they had come to capture, spoke with the voice of a human. One of the elders stepped forward cautiously. "Princess, is it truly you?" The girl's eyes widened. She had heard humans speak before, but the weight of the word princess felt strange and heavy. She did not fully understand it, yet something inside recognized the truth. She was not just a lost girl. She was royalty. Her bloodline, her sigils, everything inside her confirmed it. Ethan remained beside her. He didn't need titles or crowns. He only needed to protect her. But now, with her identity revealed, the stakes had changed. She would no longer be able to hide. They would come for her relentlessly. One of the soldiers stepped forward, kneeling. "Princess, your throne is waiting. But the enemies who betrayed you long ago, they are still alive. They will try to kill you again." The girl's hands glowed faintly and her eyes reflected the sunlight. She had survived 15 years alone in the wilderness, and now she understood something. She was stronger than any fear. She was the rightful heir, and she would not be defeated. Ethan watched her closely. "Are you ready?" he asked quietly. She nodded. The word yes did not leave her lips, but her posture, her glowing markings, her determination all spoke louder than words. Together, they moved through the forest, the soldiers following at a cautious distance. Ethan taught her to walk among humans, to keep her energy under control, to respond when spoken to. She learned quickly, faster than anyone had expected. Her instincts merged with his guidance, and she became a force both gentle and powerful. As the day passed, they reached the outskirts of an ancient city. Towers of silver and crystal glimmered under the sun. This was the kingdom from which she had been stolen. She stopped at the city gates, unsure. She had survived without anyone for 15 years, and now she would face the people who had betrayed her as a baby. Ethan squeezed her hand gently. "Whatever happens next," he said softly, "I'll be right here." The girl took a deep breath, feeling her energy pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. For the first time, she felt like she belonged somewhere, not in the forest, not alone, but here, where she was meant to be. Soldiers and citizens alike fell silent as they saw her step into the city. She glowed faintly in the sunlight, a living reminder of the betrayal that had tried to end her life. Yet she was alive, stronger than ever, unafraid. She looked at Ethan. He smiled back. His presence steadied her. Together they moved forward, ready to reclaim what had been taken from her. She lifted her chin and spoke clearly, words ringing out across the courtyard. "I choose him to stand beside me." Murmurs spread like wildfire. Some citizens bowed. Others stared in disbelief. The people who had doubted her, the ones who had helped betray her family, they were all watching now. Ethan stepped forward, still beside her. "I am honored," he said quietly, almost to himself. "I will protect you no matter what." The girl's markings glowed brighter than ever. She was no longer the lost child of the forest. She was the princess of her people, and she had a human by her side who had shown her what kindness, courage, and loyalty truly meant. For the first time in 15 years, she felt hope, and with that hope, she knew that no betrayal, no enemy, and no danger could ever take her life again. Together, they faced the city, ready to reclaim her throne and her destiny. And for the first time, she realized that perhaps, just perhaps, the world was bigger than the forest, bigger than fear, and with the human beside her, there was nothing she could not overcome. The lost princess had returned, and the human who had saved her 15 years ago would stand with her, forever.